If you're one of those people that you got problem with black people or whatever, you better shut your mouth, because they're God's people. You better hear what I'm saying to you. You better shut your white mouth. You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you. I know some of you was raised in the deep South, and you was raised by prejudiced people and bigoted people. You better get that out of your system. You better get it out of your system. It'll cause you to suffer right along with those masters. It'll cause you to suffer right along with them. These are God's people. And I know that there's wicked in white races and wicked in black races and all that. I'm not justifying none of that stuff. I'm just saying God knows what happened to the black race. He knows how they wound up over here, and God is going to reimburse the black people for all their trouble and all their labor. You watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. Listen.
Can't nobody stop what the Most High put together. We gon' see. In times. Serpents lurking, watchers watching, YHWH'S stay on point. They lurking. We under the covenant, we ain't got no other choice. Gird your loins up, armor up, cause it's time for war. We the generation that's gon' get on one accord. Serpents lurking, watchers watching, YHWH'S stay on point. We under the covenant, we ain't got no other choice. Gird your loins up, armor up, cause it's time for war.
Pretend you're in the church and the Rev is preaching.
I'm Jewish.
Well, shalom and l'chaim on this shit.
But don't forget, you're also 1/4 Jewish.
Mazel tov, baby.
Shalom.
Shalom. So, who are we? We are not black. Black is a color like red, blue, and green. Okay? What is the language that goes with black? It is not English, because English is a West Germanic language. Okay? What is the culture that goes with black? Or even, what is the landmass that goes with black? For example, Chinese. They have their language, Mandarin, different dialects. Okay, they have their culture, and they have their land mass to go back to. What is our language? Okay, what is our culture, and what is our landmass? Okay, we have to know that. So you can't be pro-black and say, speaking English, okay, and doing English things, celebrating English things, and say I'm pro-black or black power. Because everything we do as quote-unquote black people, when you look at it, it's European. So who are we? So it doesn't really make sense to say I'm black. There's no language with it, there's no culture with it, and there's no landmass. Now, when you go back to Africa, quote unquote Africa, then it's like, okay, well, what part of Africa? Because there are many countries, there are many different dialects and cultures and so forth. Okay, so these things have not been taught to us in school. You see what I'm saying? So we're already at a disadvantage. Now, I have a over 2 hour lesson on who we are genetically, backing up everything. Okay, all the college textbooks, illustrative books, everything. Okay, proving all things of who we are as being the biblical Hebrew Israelites.
The true Jews, according to the Bible, you can check it in the Bible, you can read Job 30 and some other places. They have never been white. They have been people of color. And they have not stopped in Ethiopia. They were in Ethiopia, Sudan, and they have settled in West Africa. From West Africa, they have been taken as slaves to America. Brothers and sisters, blacks of America, it's you. You are the true Hebrews. You are the true Hebrews from the Bible. America gonna do everything, gonna invest as much money as it has, gonna fight as much wars as they can, gonna invite as much weapons as they can, just to hide this away from you. Gonna take Israel, gonna bring white people here and to tell you these are the Jews, gonna kill you, gonna kill Arabs, gonna mistreat white people like this guy, just to tell you this lie, that you are nobody and we are the Jews with all the history and so on. It has been deleted, your history. You don't know who you are. Don't forget about it. This is why America has been taking your history away, never to find out that it's all about you.
But we know in the scripture, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37, it says, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword," blacks, African Americans, Negroes, all these different terms.
Who the hell are you? Call me whatever you want. That's what you white folks do.
Among all nations, whether the Most High shall lead these. And that's why I was saying that, because we are actually in biblical prophecy of having these different names.
But I know there are, well, basically the way our history goes is that we're 12 tribes.
Now, most people don't know about the 12 tribes of Israel, especially in Christianity. Christianity does not talk about the 12 tribes of Israel. They just talk about Jesus, okay? And what he did, and, you know, God loves everyone. There's no more, there's no conversation about the 12 tribes of Israel in Christianity, even though the entire Bible is about these people. End time prophecy and all of that. So this is the big deception about Christianity. That's one of the big deceptions about Christianity. If you don't know about the 12 tribes of Israel, basically they are descendants from the seed of Jacob. Okay, the forefather Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. Thus, he had 12 children. Thus, 12 tribes would be the 12 nations of Israel. Basically, that's where that whole story comes from. But once again, it's not spoken about in Christianity, even though the prophecies about these people are all throughout what they call the Bible.
Which tribe are you from?
Well, there are only 2 left.
So
12 Jewish tribes, I'm sorry.
There's 12 Jewish tribes, but just...
Jacob, there was 12 kids.
Okay.
And
now, to the real Hebrew Israelites, you're going to refer to Deuteronomy 28, 64 through 68. He is reprimanding and passing judgment on the Israelites for the wrongs that they did, and they did wrong, and they get their judgment, and they have suffered it. He sent them into ships, by ships, into bondage, scattered, so they would never know their land again, it says, that they will never know who their God is, and God shall turn his back on them. They never knew who they were. The Jews today happen to have heritage and they know who they are, but it violates everything that we're going to look at in your scriptures of Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, Zechariah. Because it's not supposed to be established by men. It's supposed to be established by God, and the end he said he would wake them up. You're going to find in Jeremiah and Zechariah that these people who were taken by ship into bondage and scattered throughout the lands, never to be seen again, never to know who they are again, would not be awoken until the end times. Today, my friends, we are in the end times.
How on earth did you manage that?
I knew you were scared.
Toby's got a gift for horses.
Real special touch, Master.
Get back in the field. Steady on, Spaulding. What did you think of Toby's special touch with the horse? It was astonishing, no?
It's just unlocked, sir. Horse is probably smarter than an African.
Good God, man. The Semites brought horses to Africa.
Horse is probably smarter than an African.
Good God, man. The Semites brought horses to Africa.
Horse is probably smarter than an African.
Good God, man. The Semites brought horses to Africa when they defeated the Egyptians more than 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. It never fails to amaze me that you've traveled the world, Spaulding, and seem to know nothing about it.
And there were 12 tribes.
Right. From
they all lived in Israel, in Jerusalem, and in Israel in general.
Right.
They were sent to exile. 10 of those 12 were sent to exile about 17 or 18 years prior to that, I believe it was.
Okay.
And they were sent to the Far East. As far as our history is concerned, they were lost.
The lost tribes of Israel were black.
And they're not going to be back with us until the Messiah comes. They were over the years.
So they're lost, but not. You mean lost like
and unknown to us.
Unknown to you guys.
Right.
Now, notice he said, as far as our history is concerned, they were lost. So these biblical people, the 12 tribes or the 10 tribes, basically, they were lost.
He could have been from the lost tribe of Israel. They were supposed to be black.
I bet they were. If ever people were lost, we're it.
Okay, his is found. They know who they are, but these other people, they're lost according to their history. Maybe the Talmud is what he's probably talking to or referring to. But according to biblical history, if we go into Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 47 and 48, and it says, because thou servest not the Most High your God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
God's blessing on you this morning. Yeah. You place your hand on this book and I'll pray for you.
Okay, so these biblical people will be serving their enemies, that's one, which the Most High shall send against you, okay, in hunger and thirst and nakedness and in want of all things. So these biblical people would be serving their enemies in want of all things, which we're doing right now, okay? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed you mentally. That is biblical history, that is biblical prophecy, and that is actually reality. We actually went through that, and we're actually still dealing with that, okay? We're still captives here. Even though the chains have come off, we still have mental chains now, okay? And we have not been delivered from our captivity by our God yet. That's the thing. Okay, that's the thing people should really think about. Also, just to confirm, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 27, and it says, and the Most High shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Most High shall lead you. So, again, God's people have been scattered into slavery among the nations.
So the two tribes that were left in Jerusalem for another between 12 to 18 years.
Which would be what? Which tribe?
Well, it's Benjamin and Judah. In Judah, right.
So, okay, Benjamin, Judah, and then the rest of the...
some of Levi.
So you're saying Benjamin, Judah is there, but the rest of the others are not...
lost.
So he's saying these 10 tribes were lost and unknown to them, right? But if he's supposed to be a biblical man, studied man, according to what the Most High is saying, Isaiah 11 and 12, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Most High shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations. Remember, we're scattered to the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel. So the Most High is going to gather his people that were scattered among the nations and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth, which confirms that his people were scattered to the four corners of the earth through slavery. Okay, is what we read. But according to their studies, they don't know. These people are just lost. But according to the biblical studies, we know where they're at. So,
Yeah, through history, there were all kinds of theories and stuff where those 10 tribes are. But it's in our studies, there says that those 10 will be returned together with the two that are left.
So we just read what the Most High is going to do. okay, when he returns for those people. All right, so it's not hard to find. He should know this, but this is why we got to study. We got to do our own research. We can't allow these people to teach us. You see that? We can't allow these people to teach us, because things can be clear as day, but yet they'll tell you something else. They'll teach you something else.
I'll be honest with you. I don't like the colored. Seems to me they're always getting into some sort of trouble. I don't think much of Hebrews either.
I'm the only normal person left around here. I'm a black Jew. I can't read and I'm half drunk. I'm a black Jew. I'm a black Jew.
I don't think much of Hebrews either.
Now, one of the things I deal with is the ancestry, okay? Our ancestry. Genesis chapter 10, verse 21 and 22, okay? Unto Shem. Shem, okay? What is Shem? What does that mean? Definition of Shem, that the eldest son of Noah, held to be the progenitor, forefather of the Semitic peoples. Semitic peoples, okay? And then you know how the media loves to use that word anti-Semitism, which would mean hostility to or prejudice against Jews. Shem. So the Semitic people, to be anti-Semitic would be that you're hostile or prejudiced against Jews. So when we find out the real Shemitic people, who are the ones that's really being anti-Semitic? Okay, but let's continue here. But those two words sticking out, Eber and Elam, I want to kind of go into those words and make some connections with the scholarship that I have. In this book, YHWH'S or Ebos, Hebrew Exiles from Israel, okay, Amazing Facts and Revelations. The name Eber, which is found in the generation of Shem, Genesis 11:15, is also used by the YHWH'S or Ebos as name or part of the name of a town. Okay, examples: Eber, Ebenebi, Abario, Muma, Ukibi, etc. Eber is an eponym from Ebrite, okay, called Hebrew in English. Okay, now this is dealing with the Ebos, the Hebrews, okay, in Nigeria. But I'm going to get into that and bring more of this out a little later. But as we see the connection here, right? But this is not being taught at school. Okay, making more connections. Hebrewisms of West Africa. All right, just making that connection with Elam. All right, the Elamites of Mesopotamia appear to have been a Negroid people with kinky hair. Whoa, really now? Also, I prove that the original Hebrews were people of color, okay? Quote unquote black people, okay? But their nationality would be Hebrew Israelite, not black. The ancient black Hebrews and Arabs. Go here, page 39. As we see here, detail of Lachish, Judean being executed. And look at his hair, okay? It's not your long, stringy-headed white man, okay? Woolly hair. And as we see down here, Judean from Lachish leaving with his cow and belongings, okay? You see that? Woolly hair. Black people, black folks, hello, let's go.
Kill me. Purge. You're the son of God.
Picture history of Jewish civilization. It's the same thing, we just confirming here. Same image. All right. Syrian relief showing the Hebrews abandoning Lachish. Okay, so this is just confirming what we see here. All right, his woolly hair.
You a child of God. You got purpose. It's in you. The law put it there, and there ain't nothing nobody can do to take it away.
All right, let's read some of this from the book, The Negro and the New World, originally published here September of 1910. It says the Elamites of Mesopotamia, and remember Elamites, because we're going to talk about them a bit later. The Elamites of Mesopotamia appear to have been a Negroid people with kinky hair, and to have transmitted this racial type to the Jews and Syrians. What did they transfer to them? Negroid people with kinky hair. That's what they looked like. It says there is a curliness of the hair together with a Negro eye and full lips in the portraiture of Assyria, which conveys the idea of an evident Negro element in Babylonia. These ancient Israelites, as well as the Syrians, all of those nations in and around the land of Canaan were people of color. So in the article that we just read, it talked about the Elamites. And if you go back and look at Genesis 10:22, it will tell you that the Elamites were sons of Shem, proving what we just read in the article, that they had dark skin. They were people of color. They were not white like European. And I'm going to show you this map again, and I know I've shared this map with you several times, but I really need you to get this information and let you know that history is proving who we are. The Bible has already told us who we are. We just didn't know that they were twisting scripture. But this information is right there in the Bible if you want to look this up on your own. And I mean, if you think about the geographical location and the heat in and around Egypt and in that area, particularly back then, they could not have been people with pale skin. Not to survive in that type of environment. People out in the hot sun all day when they were in the land of Egypt making bricks from mud. They had to be people of color. All right, let's take a look at this map again. All right, let's find Elam on here. This is Shem, son of Noah. Here's Elam right here. So obviously they looked like their father. And then through this line of Arphaxad, Selah, Eber, and then trace it down through Peleg is where we get Abraham and the forefather of the ancient Israelites. So if he had black skin, obviously so did these other people, so did these other descendants of Shem. But what is so ridiculous is that the scholars want us to believe all of the black races came from Ham. But then when it comes to Mizraim, which is Egypt, they said, no, those people were white. The Egyptians are white. All of Ham's other sons were black, but not Egypt. It is so ridiculous. You know, it's just, we really need to start challenging this nonsense because it does not make sense.
Now, I bring out a lot of information on this. And one of the things I bring out, how, the British, okay, they have stolen our artifacts and hid our identity. And they make fun of it in films. The British decided to deal drastically with the entire Igbo nation, destroying both their kings and kingdoms, carrying away their artifacts, and deliberately erasing their history and particularly their Jewish identity. Carrying away their artifacts and erasing their identity. That's what they were showing you in the movie Black Panther when, went into, the Killmonger went into the British Museum.
Good morning.
and he saw the artifacts.
I was just checking out these artifacts. Where's this one from?
The Bobo Ashanti tribe, present-day Ghana.
Hebrews of West Africa. Just showing here this image here of the Ashanti people, Ashanti ambassador crossing the Pra. Okay, right here we have the Ashanti men with the breastplates on it, okay, representing the 12 tribes, the 12 pieces, okay, again representing the 12 tribes of Israel, just like the movie King Solomon's Mine, okay.
See his necklace? And that necklace, 21st dynasty?
So?
When Solomon was king of Israel?
They had the 12 pieces on their neck. All right, so Hollywood understands this very well. They know who the real biblical people are. And she was talking about the Edo people of Benin.
What about this one?
That one's from the Edo people of Benin, 16th century.
Our kind wouldn't have wiped out an entire species.
Of course you would. They've been doing it for centuries.
How do you think your ancestors got these? You think they paid a fair price? Or did they take it like they took everything else?
So yeah, they know this history and they're putting it in these films. Little do you know. But until we acquire this knowledge, then we can see these devils for who they are and start supporting our own. One of the funny things is even Hitler knows our identity. Yes, even Hitler knows who we are. This book, The Nazis by Time Life Books. Okay, we got Hitler here. Okay, and we got these images that's up here in this book. But I want to go right here into this section and bring this out. In one segment of a Nazi instructional film, right, which Hitler was showing to his men. Okay, the genetic heritage of the Jew is purportedly traced to Oriental Negro. Yeah, you see that? Negro. But yet we don't know who we are, and we're still calling ourselves black folks. And then Hollywood makes fun of it.
I'm very proud to be half Korean. Thank you, honey. But don't forget, you're also 1/4 Jewish.
Mazel tov, baby.
Shalom.
Even the Jewish community know who we are.
Do you know that the black man in America is Israel? That he's Jews? Do you know that? Yes.
For a fact. And they know about the genetic testing on our people to confirm who we are as the biblical people, as the Hebrew Israelites. We are not black people.
Is in Africa. Africa has perhaps hundreds of millions of people with this identity right now of being from the people of Israel.
You ever hear African Jews?
African Jews?
Yeah, no, right? No. So these are black Jews, all right? They're stranded in the middle of Ethiopia.
That when the Romans conquered Judea, a few hundred years after that the tribes of Israel went into exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery. Into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa.
He gon' send his hand, destruction gotta come, that's how he get us out this lane. The devil working hard, trying to get us out his plane. His sheep hear his voice, so he can't get us out his hand. We gon' trust the Son of Man, blow your wings, Father. Your kingdom coming, we just trying to make it in, Father. Rather we